Hi everyone, Stepan here with another game. The last game was awful. I lost without a fight basically. I lost the pawn and then I just lost the game. My opponent played really well, but in a very easy position where I was 4 pawns down. By the end I resigned because it was 2 rooks and queen. So I tried to come up with some counterplay, but there was no counterplay. My opponent defended perfectly, or there was nothing to defend against, to be honest. They just played good prophylactic moves. In any case, my winning streak is over. I won my 3 games before the last one, and then I lost. So, let's come back. It was actually a weird Benoni, which I didn't know well. And now let's focus on this game. Queen's Gambit exchange, main line. Either castles or knight d7, but I think castles is the main move here. My opponent is Kartal2468. We have never played, and my opponent only plays rapid and has played 1700 games. Wow, that's a lot of games. I don't know b6. I don't think I've ever seen b6. The idea is bishop a6, I guess. Well, I guess. So, if I go knight f3 and my opponent goes bishop a6, then I just take it and castle. So I have a slight lead in development. So I'm not gonna go bishop d3, which is thematic. I'll go knight f3. I don't think I've ever seen b6, bishop a6. I also could have played queen a4, but that seemed unnecessary. Yeah, the last game is something I would like to forget. My opponent playing instantly and outplaying me like a boss. I don't want to go into a game like that again. Okay, now that the bishop has been placed on b7, I can go bishop d3. I don't think I'm afraid of c5, c4. Okay, knight there. I can castle, and on castles I can go knight e5, and that knight cannot be taken, and I'm putting pressure on c6. And I can also go f4, which is interesting. I can start attacking. So knight e5, if knight e5, d e5, knight e4, bishop e7, queen e7, knight e4, d4, bishop e4, queen e5, bishop h7 seems to work. So I'll go knight e5. If nothing's done, I'm gonna go f4, and I'll try to play a Collie system / London system / Stonewall attacking idea where you gain full control over e5 and launch an attack using that square. Okay, now if I go bishop h4, my opponent plays knight e5, then d e5 and g5, and I can take, and my bishop still isn't hanging. But my opponent can start with g5, and if I go bishop h4, g5, then probably knight d7 or bishop g3. They both seem okay. Okay, I'll just go bishop h4. There's no need to panic. Knight e5 straight away doesn't, I think, work, because I can just misplace the f6 knight and play f4. Maybe I could have considered h4, but I don't think it really worked. Sorry. Whenever they take on e5 and the knight on f6 is not there anymore, then it becomes easier to attack. So yeah, that's what I'm trying to do. And again, if my opponent doesn't take now, I'll play e5. If they go g5, I probably go bishop g3. Probably. And then if they take on e5, what do I take with? I'm not sure. And if knight e5, d5, knight d7, I think I go bishop g3, declining the bishop trade. And then I go f4, because I want my bishop on f2, defending the newly created weakness along the g1, a7 diagonal. Because whenever you take d5, after something like c5 and or b5 and queen b6, you could be in trouble. So I don't think I want to take on e7. It makes no sense. Also, if I take on e7, the queen comes to e7, and then when my opponent starts undermining with f6, e3 will be weak. So I want my bishop there. I don't know what to suggest. Probably rook c8 and c5 is what I would think of, but maybe knight e5 is playable. Maybe you get a mobile center, but okay. Okay. Wait, can I play bishop h7 check? So bishop h7, king h8, knight f7 check, rook f7, bishop g6, then there is bishop h4, bishop takes f7, bishop h7 check, king h8, knight f7 check, rook f7, bishop g6, bishop h4, bishop f7, or no, not bishop h4. The rook should move. But if the rook moves... Wait, does that work? Bishop h7, king h8 is forced. Knight takes f7, rook takes f7 is forced. Bishop g6. And then if the rook moves, I take on e7, take on h5. If bishop takes h4, I take on f7, and I have a rook and pawn for bishop and knight. And I have a bishop on f7. And how do I make progress? I don't see a way to make progress. Bishop h7, king h8. Is there anything there? I don't see anything good. I mean, I can still throw in bishop h7, but I don't see a point to that. Okay, I don't see a point. But maybe I can go bishop g3, and if my opponent takes, I take with the f pawn. Ooh, that's interesting. But then knight e5. Okay, so probably no. Bishop h7. Let's go back to bishop h7. Because if I go bishop g3, then knight g3, f g3, knight e5, and they don't have anything. Do I really want to go f4? So bishop e7, queen e7, f4. If f6, I can take on d7. Yeah, I'm not sure about that. I'm not sure about anything anymore. I don't want to trade everything, but I think I may have to. I don't see a way to get out of this. The only question is, do I go knight f3 or f4? I don't really like f4. f4, f6, knight d7, queen d7, rook here. There's no need to play f4. I don't have an attack anymore. It's pointless. Why is my opponent thinking? I think here. Queen e7. I'm looking at queen e2 and getting my bishop somewhere sensible, and then queen d3. Like, for example, queen e2, rook c1, bishop b1, queen d3. But I'm not sure that works. Why isn't my opponent recapturing the bishop? There is no alternative. You have to take the bishop. I don't get this. This is absolutely forced. Probably isn't here. Knight h5 is a very thematic way for white to stop an attack in the exchange variation. But do I have anything here? Oh, on queen e7, I may have knight d5, c d5, followed by queen c7. Ooh, queen e7, knight takes d5, c takes d5, queen c7, attacking the knight and the bishop. The only move I can see is bishop c8. And then do I have queen c6? Maybe. I also have knight c6. Does knight d5 work? On bishop c8, I can also go bishop f5. Oof. Knight d5. Knight d5. E d5. Queen c7. Attacking the bishop, attacking the knight. On bishop c8, can I go bishop f5? Then my opponent has to go either knight f6 or rook d8 or rook d8. Or on rook d8 there is knight c6. Wait a minute, maybe this works. Knight takes d5. C takes d5. Queen c7. Bishop c8. Bishop f5. Let's say knight hf6. Oh, that seems very tempting. Instead of bishop c8, maybe instead of bishop f5, maybe bishop b5. So knight d5, c d5, queen c7, bishop c8, bishop b5, knight f6, followed by bishop c6. That works, that works, that works. So knight d5, c d5, queen c7, bishop c8, bishop b5, knight hf6 or rook d8, bishop c6. Okay, I'm playing that. Seems to work. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But for now, I think it works. Because the knight's pinned to the queen, the bishop is loose. On rook c8, I can just take the knight. I think bishop c8 is the only move. Okay, and now bishop b5 followed by bishop c6 should win the rook. Unless I'm very much mistaken. Oh, queen d8. There is queen d8. Idiot. Queen d8. Maybe I have queen d6. No, I don't have queen d6. There's queen d8. Why didn't I consider queen d8? There is queen d8. Oof. Well, that's awesome. My opponent didn't play queen d8. They should have gone queen d8. Queen d8 was just the winning move for black, I'm sure. Now it's not clear at all. Okay, let's increase the pressure. Queen d8 still, but now I have bishop takes d7. Or queen d6. Now queen d8 doesn't work. It worked on the previous move. My tactic was bad, but what can you do? So the bishop cannot move. The knight cannot move. The queen cannot really move. I don't know. It's a tough position. And if my opponent doesn't do anything, I can just start by taking the a pawn. Probably. Yeah, bad tactic, but I got a relatively good position anyway. Maybe there's a way to get out of it, but it definitely won't be easy. Sorry. I wouldn't know what to do here as black. I would probably play something like rook e8 to defend my queen, to give myself the option to play knight e5. Probably. Yeah, but knight e5 still fails to queen b8. So can I not just keep increasing the pressure? With, let's say, rook c2, triple up, or queen takes a7. I don't really like queen a7. And then again, rook c2 makes little sense. If my opponent plays queen d8, I'll have to exchange on d7 anyway. Now bishop d7 doesn't work anymore, because if bishop d7, knight c6, my opponent can take and the queen's defended. So queen a7, knight e5, queen b8, knight c6, rook c6. There may be bishop d7, attacking my rook and my queen. So I'm not sure I should play queen a7. So I'll go rook c2 and try to double. I think this is the way to go. I have to keep increasing the pressure, because if I don't get all of my pieces into play, I'll actually be down a knight. And as it stands now, If my opponent moves the d7 knight, I can at least take on b8. I can also take on e8, and that might be better. So if knight e5, then bishop e8, the queen is hanging, and the knight is hanging, so that works. I don't even have to take on b8. This is a very interesting position. I mean, I gave up a piece for an attack and I got one. Wait, knight e5, can I not go bishop e8? Bishop e8. If queen c7, then rook c7. Does that work? I think it does. No, it does not. Because my opponent takes on e8 with tempo on the... with tempo on the rook. Oh, but I have rook e7. I do have rook e7, attacking both knights. Okay, that's a move I did not see. That could just save me. If knight e8, I have rook e7. And on king f8, I take on e5. Oof, that was lucky. There is knight c6. But at least I'll have knight e8 and there is no king f8, so... Rook e7 was lucky, I didn't see that. Also, if I take the knight on e8, it's going to be very hard for my opponent to develop. In fact, they may just lose a piece. So I think my opponent needs to allow me to take the e5 knight. Yeah, that seems important. Oh, okay. So let's grab this knight. I have to. I don't think I have a choice. This was probably a good solution. So it's rook for two pieces. I don't know how to evaluate this. Oh, this is a very passive move. Very passive move. Very passive move. So how does my opponent defend the b pawn? What if I go rook b7? There's bishop c8. Well, my opponent's threatening king f8, bishop c8 anyway. Huh. Maybe my rook's just trapped. My rook is trapped. Yeah, my rook is trapped. Damn. Yeah, I don't see a way to save my rook. The best I can do is at least take this pawn, but other than that, I don't see a way out. King f8, rook b7, bishop c8. Game over. Yeah. So I think I have to take on e8. Or on e6. Either way, I'm losing. Funny how it all worked out for my opponent. Okay, I'll take the knight, because at least with h3, g4, f4, f5, I may have a chance with my passed pawn, but yeah, I don't have a chance, not really. I didn't see that my knight is gonna be, that my rook is gonna be trapped so neatly. It all just worked out. But what can you do? Yeah, my sacrifice was bad anyway, so I deserved the loss because I missed queen d8. I think my opponent could have won cleanly more quickly prior to this rook trap anyway. But we will keep fighting. It's not over until it's over. It's a pawn for a bishop, so it's dead lost, but we keep fighting. My opponent has 2 minutes on the clock. Anything's possible. I mustn't trade rooks. That much is clear. And my only hope is my passed e-pawn. Okay. I want to trade off pawns, but I don't see how. So I'll go a4, preventing bishop e6 from winning a pawn. If rook b4, I can go a5, but then there's bishop e6. Oof, there's just no hope. There is no hope. Okay, at least now I have this. Yeah, there's bishop d7. Awful. This is awful. Yeah, let's just keep pushing my pawns. I'm losing. Bishop c6. What am I doing? I keep losing like a better sometimes. I'll just resign. This is disrespectful. Okay. Okay, let's see. So white is slightly better after f4. f4 was the main plan, but for some reason I liked this idea. Wait, knight c6. Yeah, okay. It's not completely losing. It is completely losing. Yeah, because I have to play this rook e7 idea. Wow. Perfect. My opponent played perfectly. This is really nice. Nice way to refute my sacrifice. I think they could have played instead of knight f6, queen d8, and then it would have been over. Because I don't see anything here. What do I even do? It's just I'm just down a piece. Yeah, this is awful. No, not a good sacrifice. I lost 9 points. Why did I lose 9 points? Okay. Yeah, I'm sorry about this game as well. Let's hope I continue to play better. Stay tuned for more chess. Bye bye.